I was at an event not too long ago, and we had a comedian. As a matter of fact, it was an expo for the Black Pages. Of course, your company was represented. We had a comedian, and he told a joke. He said the way to experience an immediate eclipse is not to pay Georgia Power. Because that was funny, but it's not funny when we think of, not because of not paying Georgia Power, but because of situations like Hurricane Irma, which came through. And I got a real appreciation for lights and electricity after having experienced my power being off for, I guess 3-4 days. And I know you all worked hard, to get everybody back on. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and I have with me today a man who helps to make it work when you get ready to shave, or when you get ready to make coffee, or when you get up, to turn your lights on, to see how to dress and how to have hot water, and all those things that electricity contributes to. This person is none other than Mr. Ron Shipman, who is the Vice President for the Central Region, and we're happy to have him here today. How you doing?
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. And the lights are on, so that's very important. Tell us a little bit first about yourself.
Okay. Again, glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Been in the power company, in the power business for a little over 30 years. Several times in Atlanta.
Since you were 12.
Something like that. But thank you very much for that as well. But had a number of opportunities with the company to do various things. I actually started in generation, so making electricity in South Georgia is where Southeast Georgia where I actually started. Had a couple of opportunities to go to Atlanta, and then back in East Georgia, back to Atlanta, and then now in Central Georgia. So had an opportunity, great opportunities for this company.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here. There are quite a few things going on with Georgia Power as it relates to changes. I understand that you all are making some adjustment as it relates to how and where you can pay your bill.
Absolutely. We are listening to our customers, obviously, all the time, but even more so now. Our customers are telling us, we like to do business with you, but sometimes it's not as convenient as we want it to be. Outside of 8 to 5, outside of Monday through Fridays. So what we've done is to have authorized payment locations, somewhere around 4,600 to 4,800 authorized payment locations where you can actually pay your bill. In making that change, it's going to basically affect about 10% or less of the customers, and those were the ones who were coming to the business office, the ones in Macon and the one in Milledgeville, which are the ones in Central Georgia. So not only the two in those two locations, Macon and Milledgeville, but the other 25 offices, so the other total 27 offices throughout the state of Georgia, we've actually closed. So now,
where you can pay your bill.
Where you can pay your bill. So you can't walk into an office, Georgia Power office, and pay your bill. But these 4,600 authorized payment locations is where you can pay your bill on your schedule, not on our schedule.
Yeah, so you can go in physically.
Physically.
Like they used to do on, Key Street?
That's right.
Here in Macon.
Here in Macon. That's correct.
But there are several different places, on the list of places that you can pay. I know that some of the grocery stores.
That's right. Kroger, Publix, Ingles, Piggly Wiggly, you can pay your bill. Piggly Wiggly, you can pay your bill. But also you can pay it at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Family Dollar, Dollar General, and in some cases Speedway. You can actually pay your power bill.
Yeah, that's very convenient.
And if I can say, that's in the walk-in locations. You can also pay it online. You can also do bill matrix, so you can call in and make the payments and do debit cards and a number of things that we have modernized the company with for the customers to do business with us.
Because it's important that you pay your bill. You got to keep the power flowing, and that's important. Well, you all do a phenomenal job. Let's talk a little bit about your citizenship.
Yes, sir.
You're being involved in the community. We just got Miss McCurdy from Macon Volunteer Clinic, and who just met you, and one of the first things that came out of her mouth is that, well, I really appreciate the support that Georgia Power gives the Macon Volunteer Clinic, among several other things. As you know, excuse me, you are a participant with many of the activities of the Black Pages, and we appreciate that too. But talk about the citizenship of Georgia Power.
Right. Thank you. Again, we live here too. We live within, obviously, most of the counties that we actually serve. We serve 155 out of 159 counties in the state of Georgia. And we as employees live in these counties. And so we are part of the citizenry. And so we want to make where we live work and play the best it can possibly be. Right. So the company supports organizations that look at arts and culture, look at education, look at environmental stewardship, look in health and human services. We want everybody to have the benefits that a lot of us can afford, and if any way the company can help with that, then we do that.
Well, as a longtime member of this community, I want to express my deepest appreciation.
Thank you.
For the role that Georgia Power plays in this community. Let's talk a little bit about when the lights are out, even though you paid your bill.
Right.
Sometimes there are catastrophes and hurricanes and those kinds of things. So I know, and I think it's amazing. You know what? Sometimes I'm riding up or down 75 and I see about 40 power trucks, yep. headed to Florida, Yep. Talk about the process of trying to get lights back on.
Okay. For Georgia Power, let me talk about Georgia Power and Southern Company first. So we assess. We actually watch, like you indicated, Hurricane Irma, but we watch weather patterns regularly, as you can well imagine. And when we see things developing, we get notices out of Atlanta and out of our group that watch the weather. We need to start paying attention to some things. In Hurricane Irma, we were watching almost a week in advance of what was actually going to happen. And we were initially asked to come packed and be ready to travel. But as you can well imagine, as you saw, Hurricane Irma decided to change course. And so we had to adjust to that. And in our adjustments, we decided, and because of where it was going to impact the state, stay put and see what happens. And I think Monday afternoon, it got really, really windy here in central Georgia. And we, no pun intended, rode it out in the headquarters. And we cannot, let me say it this way, we cannot go out when the winds are above 30 miles per hour and raise the buckets out of the truck. It's a situation that we don't want to put our linemen in. And so we had to let the winds die down before we can go to work. And remember, that was a lot for Central Georgia. It was Monday night, really Tuesday morning before we actually can go to work. And so collectively around the state, we had somewhere 26 state represented to come to Georgia to help us get lights back on.
26 other states. 26
other states. So utilities from 26 other states, including a couple of provinces out of Canada that sent line personnel to Georgia to help get lights on.
Wow.
And I think several of you may have seen a number of our visiting line personnel, not only from our operating companies, Mississippi Power Company, Alabama Power, staging over at the Centerplex. And we want to give kudos to the Centerplex for squeezing us in, but we were between two shows over there. They worked with us, and Spectra, who runs that organization, said, hey, we can help you out. And we staged over there, and we got working on Tuesday morning.
So you had all your trucks right there.
We were ready to go, and coming in all at the same time.
Right.
And we dispersed accordingly. And that's, again, we had conference calls throughout the day from an organizational standpoint. Who do we need to send where? How many? Those kinds of things. So in a situation like Irma and in any hurricane or traumatic weather situation, we're watching it ahead of schedule. We're planning to do whatever it does. So we got to act according to where we're not weather men and women either. So we just have to wait and see. And then once we see what has occurred, then we disperse our line crew personnel, our engineering staff, our logistics staff in order to get the lights back on.
We had quite a few out in Bibb County, didn't we?
We did. We had a number out in Bibb County. Let's talk about the state. Again, we serve 2.5 million customers in the state of Georgia. Georgia Power does. During the peak of the storm, we had 997,000 customers out.
Whoa.
So in central Georgia, it was somewhere around 150,000 customers out in Macon, or in central Georgia. And when you talk with EMA at Bibb County EMA, at one point in time, Macon Bibb County had somewhere around 250 roads blocked because of trees. And so we had to work and coordinate efforts with the counties, not only Macon Bibb, but the counties that we serve, in order to get the lights back on. Because most of the time when a tree fell, it fell on our power lines.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing story, but I mean, I think you all were rated an A. You know, everybody didn't get their lights on the next day, but they came, you know, when mine came on, I said, let there be light, you know. And it was, but I mean, I really appreciate the effort, you know, that Georgia Power exerts to make sure that you serve the customers in an effective manner. And so I really want to congratulate you for that. Let's talk about some other programs that Georgia Power has going on, like energy assistance and things. You got several programs. You're not just in business although you got to make money, but you're a good citizen.
Thank you.
With a heart.
Absolutely.
You know, and so there are programs that will assist people who really need help as it relates to the payment of their bill.
Absolutely. So we have several programs that are out there, and all of them, for informational purposes, are on our website at www.georgiapower.com, and you can go through there and search and find. But programs like prepay. If you want to prepay your electric bill, you can do that. There are options for that. If you are a senior citizen and you meet the qualifications of meet above certain, I think 200% above the 200% of the poverty level, and 65 years or age or older, then you can theoretically qualify.
What do I say?
Just call the 888 number.
Just kidding.
But you can qualify for that senior citizen discount. There are discounts for military veterans that have fallen on hard times, that are either unemployed or living at the poverty line. You can call and qualify for those kinds of things. So Project Share, I think a number of organizations have heard of Project Share, and that's where our energy assistance program allows individuals who want to pay a little bit extra on their bill, donate it to Project Share. Project Share pools the money, and when customers need assistance, they can contact Project Share, and there's some assistance out there for them in that method.
Matter of fact, the EOC, I think, is providing. Bibb County Economic Opportunity Council, I saw the other day where they are providing some assistance for people who may would need assistance. So
and can I say also, we have also created an energy assistance organization within the company that are looking at, citizens that have and customers that have fallen on hard times and need some assistance in that vein. And so if you can go to our website, www.georgiapower.com, or call the 888 number, and that's 1-888-660-5890. And individuals there at the Customer Care Center can walk them through how they qualify and what is needed for those particular programs.
Outstanding. Talk about a little bit. It's my understanding, I don't know what, but if in fact, talk about assistance with energy assistance as it relates to appliances and equipment. Is that still available? I know that like with air conditioners and refrigerators and things of that nature?
Well, the assistance that we provide is really more educational. Like, for instance, what to turn your thermostat on in the summertime and what to turn it on to set it in the wintertime. Because differences in those settings create either good outcomes or not so good outcomes with your power bill. In other words, if you like it at a hot temperature in the wintertime and you're total electric, then you can expect an increase in your power bill. But there are also programs that you can qualify for, like a flat bill or budget bill, that levelize out your bill throughout the entire year. So what we're doing is listening to our customers to kind of adjust things and work with our customers in their need, because we don't know all of the needs of each and every customer. But what we're trying to do is find programs and pockets as to where our customers can call, depend on us, and then we can say, I think you qualify, or you may meet the qualifications for this program. You may need to apply for this.
I know you all are busy and you've got employees, but what if a customer is concerned about their electricity bill? They might think there's a problem somewhere, and they think it's higher than it should be. If in fact they might be in a location that would need some adjustments to lower their bills. Do you have any resources that would assist individuals in the community to just kind of gauge where they are, to help determine if in fact there are ways that they can reduce their payment?
Absolutely. One way is you can actually do that online. We have an online energy audit program that you can go in and plug in certain parameters, and it will tell you may need to look at this, or you may need to verify these kind of things. And so let's just say something comes up with the energy energy audit. Then you can call the 888-660-5890 number, and then ask for some guidance as to, this is what the audit said to me, how and where, and can you help me decipher what this says? And so we can do that. And the third option is, once you've exhausted those two, we have individuals in the company, in Central Region, and in all of the regions around the state, that can actually come out and help customers look at their region energy service representatives that can come out and help customers face to face. Look at what the problem. You may need more caulking around your windows, more caulking around your doors. Instead of single pane windows, you may need double pane windows. Those are the kinds of things that we can assist with.
Well, it's my understanding, and for a lot of reasons, and you may not know this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. It's my understanding that if, in fact, you've got a charger plugged in, a phone charger, something like that, that you really should unplug it when there's nothing. Do they? I mean, what's the rationale behind it?
Okay. Those little chargers, what we call chargers, they're actually mini transformers. And what they're doing is transforming the energy so it can charge your phone. As long as they're plugged into the wall, even if there's nothing on the other end of it, it's still using a small amount of energy. Now, one of the things, and I do this at home, I have them plugged into a power strip that I can turn off when I'm finished charging the device.
So you just turn the power
I just flip the power switch out, no matter how many.
Pull the charger.
I don't have to pull the charge out. Just hit a power strip and turn the power strip off. And then when you need it, you just flip it back on and just plug your phone back in. That's what I do personally.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great idea, and then I'm going to do that, because sometimes people. But then it might pull a small amount of energy, but if you got millions of people, with just chargers plugged in that's not doing anything but just transforming blank energy, so to speak, then that can add up to pretty big numbers of wasted electricity.
We want our customers, and all customers, to use energy efficiently. We don't want you to waste it. We want you to use it efficiently. So please do that.
We'll talk about, just for a minute, where does the energy come from? Why are these lights on?
Oh, I got you.
People, I think we need to think about that, and we're so blessed. And, I was thinking this morning, I said, wow, You know, just think how much advanced we are as it relates to people who had to light, kerosene lamps, man.
Yep.
Had to have kerosene lamps and light you get your light from the fireplace. So, what kind of technology creates energy?
Wow. So I give
Since
it.
you used to be a generator.
So I give you in three basic pockets. So there's the generation piece. So electricity has to be generated. So the power plants, like for instance in Central Georgia, Plant Scherer generates energy. And then once it's put out on the grid, you have to get it from the power plant to the house. So the intermediary is our transmission system, our big wire that run cross country. So if you ever come out of Plant Scherer or see these big transmission lines that's running throughout the county and throughout the state, that's what's happening. It's transmitting power from a generating source to a substation. From the substation, it gets to the house.
Okay.
And so it's really three buckets: generate it, transmit it, and distribute it to the customer. Right. And so the other thing is generation comes in different methods. You can generate it using nuclear, you can generate it using coal, you can generate it using natural gas, you can generate it using wind and sun and our solar technology. So number of generation opportunities, we use all of them. Because we believe in a diversified fleet as it relates to generation.
Right, that's important. You said solar. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's becoming extremely popular.
It is.
Talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So solar, we use solar within Georgia Power Company. We use solar within Southern Company. Matter of fact, if you look at the states, Georgia, the state of Georgia, has the highest amount of solar energy generated from a non-mandated status, so to speak. There are certain states in the nation that have mandates to generate renewable energy via solar, wind, and hydro. Georgia does not have a mandate, but Georgia is one of the highest states with the amount of solar that is generated. And that's something that our Public Service Commission is in favor of. That's something that we see viable for this state.
Right. Well, that's awesome. What about how old you have to be to work for them? Just kidding. What about employment? I know you got a phenomenal staff, and I want to give a shout out to Teresa Robinson,
Absolutely.
who has been involved in this community and who works with you and on several boards, and I just really appreciate it, and I think we should acknowledge her
Absolutely.
publicly
Absolutely.
and all that she does for this community. But what about employees and employment
Gotcha.
with Georgia Power?
So I agree with you with Teresa and individuals like Teresa. They're the ones whose shoulders I'm actually standing on. I mean, I could not be here had it not been for the staff that works with me. The line personnel that keeps the lights on, the engineers that design it, the customer service reps who when you call, you touch bases with. I mean, none of us could be here had it not been for them. But all of us, in some respect, have kind of worked our way through the various segments of the company. And so we look for a variety of individuals to come in and work for us on a regular basis. And again, if you're interested, there's at GeorgiaPower.com, there's a career page, and you can go out there and look to see what's out there.
Yeah, well, that's interesting to know. How many people do you employ? I mean, do you know that right off? I mean,
Yeah, within Georgia Power Company,
Right.
there's about 7,500 employees within Georgia Power Company, somewhere thereabouts.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate the role that you play and all of the employees and your citizenship and how you respond to catastrophes and things of that nature. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know, I appreciate your being a citizen. I know you too
Absolutely.
are involved in the community. I see you at several different functions, and I'm going to give you about a minute to give your part and statement.
Thank you. Again, we just simply are glad to be a part of the community. We, at least me personally, I've only been here, at least in Macon, for 2 years, but I lived in Georgia basically all my life. So I have had the fortune of being able to travel around the state. So again, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come and talk to you about the things that Georgia Power continues to do as it modernizes for the customer. and we just simply want to say we're here for you. It may be in a different format in which we are used to, but we're here for you. Call us at 888-660-5890 or www.georgiapower.com.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Ron Shipman, who's the Vice President of the Central Georgia region. I remember that.
Thank you, sir.
For the Georgia Power Company, and I want to repeat that it's a phenomenal citizen and it does a phenomenal job of keeping the lights on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
We'll do you too.